Item number 11, Ms. Costello.
Yes, you have a letter in your packet that I'd like to refer you to from the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. And I'm going to kind of walk through this letter with you so that everyone understands all of the elements that went along with this grant. And let me preface this with a few remarks. First, FEMA funds of any kind flow through parish government. That's the only way funds can be received to any municipalities, to any local governments. All funds flow through parish government. So that's the way this grant worked as well. Number two, we did not apply for this grant. There was no application process. This was simply a grant that we didn't know we were even receiving until we received this letter that you have in your hand. The letter you can see was mailed on August 17th. I received it in my office. It was hand-delivered by Mr. Franklin from Homeland Security on Thursday, August 21st. As you read through the first paragraph of the letter, you'll notice at the end of the first paragraph there, it says that this grant was made available in the aftermath of severe storms and tornadoes, which was DR 4439 declared on June 30th, 2019. And that disaster was the Ruston tornado. So this is money that has been granted by FEMA through the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness as a result of the Ruston tornado. And then it gives you a breakdown of the monies that are made available through the grant if it is funded. The total available to Lincoln Parish through this grant was $2,952,908. Then if you read in the following paragraph, it tells you that these allocation costs can be used for mitigation measures that are consistent with the state plan and our local hazard mitigation plan. Okay? So these funds cannot be used for just anything. It's actually quite restrictive as to what these funds can be used for. They must not only just fit into what the state standards are, they must fit into what our local hazard mitigation plan has already got into place. In addition, it says they encourage us to engage the city of Ruston and Louisiana Tech and to renew the strategies of our parish hazard mitigation plan. Now, the reason that they indicated on here that they want us to work with the city of Ruston and Louisiana Tech University is because those two entities received the vast majority of the damage incurred in the Ruston tornado. According to the numbers that I was able to come up with, Lincoln Parish Police Jury incurred about $330,000 in recoverable costs in Ruston tornado. The city of Ruston's recoverable costs were in excess of $6 million. Louisiana Tech University's recoverable costs were in excess of $33 million. So our parish government's damages incurred were very, very minute compared to the city of Ruston and Louisiana Tech Universities. These projects require a cost share or a non-federal match of 25%. That means that in order to leverage this $2.9 million, you must require almost a $1 million match of your own. Okay? The application period that we received with this expired on September 1st. That means that you must have submitted your project for funding between the time we received this letter on August 21st and September 1st. That means we had 7 business days to submit a project. Okay? Now, I'll tell you right now, we did not have any projects in the hopper because we did not know that we were receiving any money. Number 2, the Lincoln Parish Police Jury does not have $1 million sitting aside waiting for this type of match. Okay? Mr. Franklin and I called Mr. Henderson. We talked to him about the requirements of this letter. We told him that the letter instructed us to meet with city officials and Louisiana Tech officials to come up with a plan, and he authorized us to do that. We sat down with 13 people, representatives from both the parish, that would be myself, Mr. Franklin, Mr. Plebsy, officials from the city of Ruston, officials from Louisiana Tech, and officials from the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. We discussed, we met on Friday, August 22nd. We discussed many possible projects that we could work together on. And we, in that discussion, found out that Ruston and Louisiana Tech already had a project that was in process in the planning phases that would fit into the requirements that the state had set forth in this plan, in this proposal. That project involved the construction of a facility that would house a new Louisiana Tech police station, the city of Ruston fire replacement fire station. But most importantly, this is a Lincoln Parish would involve the construction in that facility of an alternate emergency operations center. Our primary emergency operations center currently is at the Lincoln Parish Sheriff's Office on the north side of town. And there has been many conversations that have occurred about the concerns about what would happen if we had a disaster that cut our city in two, maybe a hazardous material spill on the interstate, a derailment of a train or something that would cut off communications between our emergency operations center and the southern part of our city, including Louisiana Tech, the city of Grambling, and Grambling State University. And so this alternate EOC would fit in perfectly to what the state wanted this money to be used for and would be a great benefit to every citizen of this parish. Also, since this is a project that was already in the pipeline, Ruston and Louisiana Tech University already had the $1 million matching funds available. Therefore, a decision was made by the group as a whole to move forward with this project, and that the city of Ruston would become the primary applicant on the project since they were putting up the $1 million match money. So that's where we stand with this. Mr. Henderson was informed of all this. He signed off on it, and I'd be glad to take any questions you might have.
Let me say this to our fellow jurors. At the time I received the call, I was fine with, I'm still fine with the decision. What I failed to do was to get all the information out before it got in the newspaper. That's why I failed to inform you on the decision that was made because of the deadline. I don't have no problem with what the decision was, but I do want to apologize to the 11 of you that I didn't get the mail out to you and let you make you aware of what we had done. So that's my fault on that call. Ms. Watkins.
First and foremost, I want to be clear on this. You said you're okay with the decision and you think that an apology that you didn't inform us is sufficient? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is, based on the letter that we received, and the time period before it was required of us having a project in the hopper, and able to come up with $1 million to keep from losing $2.9 million for 47,000 people, I agree with the decision that we made. I'm apologizing for not letting the jury know what the decision was. But why lose 2.9 million for the whole parish based on that decision?
Mr. Henderson,
Ms. Roberts.
did you read that letter?
Yes, ma'am.
Or did they tell you what was on the letter? Because I have a different interpretation of what that letter says. Now, let me be the first to say, and I don't want to be argumentative about this, I want to keep my cool. I'm one of those, the first thing I do when I get up in the morning, I pray. Then I get my coffee. Then I go to the computer and I read our official journal. When I read it, truthfully, I was appalled. So I sent all of you a text. And this is what the text said. It said that we need to have an executive session not to criticize Mr. Postel, but to have him grow into the job. None of you answered my text. You, Mr. Henderson, did not answer my text. The first thing I'm saying is, number one, we should have been the first to know. I shouldn't have read that 5 o'clock in the morning on the news. I should have been the first to know. Number two, we are the custodians of tax dollars. Mr. Postel isn't. We manage the tax dollars. We, just like Mr. Postel said, he met with that group. I didn't hear him mention anybody on his police jury as one of those meeting in that group. That process was wrong and inexcusable on your part and on our part. And one more thing, I'm going to ask that the legal counsel, because I asked this information. I asked you, Mr. Henderson, to provide me with a copy of the application. Did I not, legal counsel?
You did.
I asked what population was used to get this grant. Did I not?
Well, I don't know. You just asked me for the documentation and everything that they had
I had
regarding this money.
I did not receive anything. I have a total different opinion, and I might be wrong, of what that letter says. That letter says to engage. It didn't say to hand it over. But the most important thing to me is to start with step one. You, regardless of your excuse, did not get in touch with the legal custodians of $3 million and find out how we thought about it. The money doesn't go through Postel's hand, and it doesn't go through yours alone. It's the 12 of us. You were wrong. And an excuse is not acceptable.
Thank you, ma'am.
Judge, did you comment?
So I basically, when I read the letter, it didn't say, it said that the September the 1st was the day, but then it said GOSEP extended it for 90 more days. And so that meant it was November the 30th. So really, we didn't have to try to act on this at that time.
Ms. Henderson, if I may.
Mr. Postel.
Just for what it's worth. What the letter says, if you look at it, it says, the application period expires on September 1st, 2020. GOSEP has requested a 90-day extension to the application period until November 30th, 2020 on our behalf. They had requested it. It had not been granted by FEMA. So at this point that we had this meeting, the deadline was September 1st. We had no other date to work from at that point.
So Ruston has submitted, and it has been approved. Their application has been submitted.
I can answer that question. I have to ask Ruston.
So we've lost the money. Because according to you, it wasn't extended. So we've lost the money.
No, ma'am.
If he has not submitted the grant and had the grant approved.
Why don't we ask him?
Let's do this. Let's keep everything digital and in order. Mayor, can you help us amend, please?
Absolutely, glad to. Couple things that we need to understand here. First, the money has not come to us or anybody else. There was a 90-day extension that GOSEP has applied for, but as they said in that meeting, there is no guarantee, and believe you me, from somebody that's been working with FEMA for 17 months on the tornado funds, you don't know what's going to happen with FEMA. So yes, there was, in my opinion, there was urgency to do it. I think we're missing one big point here, though. Yes, using round figures, there's $3 million coming to the parish. By our figures that we were just given, the parish suffered 1% damage of that $3 million. The city 16%, 15%, and Tech 84%. The other big thing is the building that Tech and the city of Ruston are talking about constructing will be another EOC, which I think we've all talked about over the last 10 years, the fact there needed to be 2. Because if you get cut off, I mean, you don't, or if a tornado hits that one, you have no backup. This way you have a backup. The big difference, though, is this grant's $3 million. The city of Ruston is putting up $3 million. And Tech and the city of Ruston are putting up the $1 million match. So the parish is not out anything to get a second EOC. Plus, as we talked with the police jury that day, was there anything that you needed that was damaged or whatever during the tornado? And what came up was the fact that the burn unit out at the landfill needed to be replaced, which is about $200,000, is that right? And we, as a city, said we would work to get that replaced. This was not a situation where the city of Ruston or Louisiana Tech is saying, give us the money. It was a fact that FEMA says, here's the money, you better do something quick or you're not going to get it. And I can tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we have been working FEMA since last April for any funds that we could get. We have a lobbyist in D.C. and we have one in Baton Rouge that's been working on this very stuff. So we think it's a good deal for the parish. It's certainly a good deal for the south side of our city because the EOC was moved to the north side. The south side's been left dry. So this provides both of that, and it provides it without any taxpayer money from the parish at all. Did I answer everything?
What you said is reasonable. The
It's facts.
process we use is wrong. You, Mr. Walker, with all due respect, is not a part of my argument here. Not my argument, but what I'm saying to the jury. If Pastel had an opportunity to get in touch with everybody else, he certainly could have gotten in touch with us. I'm not arguing anything about what you've done. I would like to know, however, has your application been approved and presented as of September 1st?
It's been submitted. It might take FEMA a year. I mean, we've gotten $87,000 back from FEMA over 17 months. Nothing works fast with FEMA. And I might say, not just FEMA, but Sept also in our state level. So I understand that you're concerned about the process. I have no problem with that. I was just giving you the facts of what's happening as far as the money that the city's willing to put up, Tech's willing to put the land up to get something for the entire parish that doesn't cost the police jury a penny.
And it's almost embarrassing to me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It's almost embarrassing to me that Lincoln Parish would not have $1 million to put up to get 3. That's like you go on a game show and you rent a car, you rent a car, and the car is $25,000 and you got to pay the taxes and you don't have the money to pay the tax. It's embarrassing to say that we could not come up with $1 million, but again, that's not my whatever with you, Mayor Walker.
But you gotta have a project. You can come up with a match, but if you don't have a project that is approved by FEMA, and believe you me, their criteria is very tough.
Thank
So
you.
it's not just, thank you.
Mayor. All right. Anything else on item number 11?
All right,
Mr.
Next
Russell.
question, Pete. Like so many of you, I heard about this from my constituents, and they were very upset, and I was upset because I didn't know all the facts. Now that I am better educated about the situation, I'm not at all disappointed or upset at our working together. That's wonderful. I just, as a police juror, I want to be notified.
Right, that's what
I want to be notified before the newspaper prints it.
right. And that, like I said, that was on me, Mr. Russell. Any other comments on item number 11?
Can I have a comment?
Item number 12
There's a hand.
is coming at the end of the meeting.
I
Action.
would like to make a comment here. Since you are discussing it.
Mr. Smith, your comments will come at the end.
Could I ask a question?
No, sir. Item number 12, action on bids.
Mr. Henderson, before we move, I would like to make a motion that legal counsel research this and present us with the facts that are requested from you and him and did not receive.
But
I'm
what
not,
document was that, Ms. Wiley?
the letter I got wasn't the same you read, because my letter didn't say, my letter said to engage Tech and Ruston. It didn't say give them the money.
I'm reading the same letter you have. It's the exact line. This is, by the way, this is the letter we have. You asked about an application. What I said in my comments was, there was no application. We did not apply for this grant. We didn't know we were getting this grant. This letter of notification, which you have in your hand, the only letter we have, was the first thing we had heard about this grant.
We
And
didn't
this is
apply.
still
we
the
didn't
only
apply.
document that we have relating to it.
The money showed up, Ms. Wiley, with the letter, and we didn't apply for it.
The money didn't show
Y'all
up with the letter.
But what I'm saying is, we didn't apply for a grant, so there was no application or project on.
But there should have been some criteria, like he said, shovel ready. I had no knowledge of that.
But what I'm saying is, the city and Tech had projects in the hopper ready to go. FEMA sent the money unbeknownst to the Lincoln Parish Police Jury, unbeknownst to Tech and unbeknownst to the city of Ruston. Once the letter arrived informing us, because we the main entity, government entity in Lincoln Parish, the money has to go through Lincoln Parish. So once we received it and looked at the deadline of September 1st, not having $1 million, not having a project, that's when the decision was made. There's nothing else to present to the jury because we didn't put in the application. There was no application. FEMA said because of the tornado, take this 2.9 million. Ms. Mayfield.
No, but it's still saying no one put in an application. That's what it says, an application has not, we were supposed to have, so did the city or Tech put in an application by September the 1st?
Yes.
So we did.
We didn't have a project and we just had a million.
Well, that's shameful to say. Sept is high, Mr. The Director of Homeland Security is hired by you, Mr. Henderson, and he doesn't have a shovel-ready project just in case.
Not a $3 million project? No.
Mr. White, Mr. Hyde, Mr. Postel,
Sure.
we fine.
Okay.
We didn't have a project, Ms. White.
You didn't come before the jury, Mr. Henderson.
I admitted that, Ms. White.
That's not good enough. So may I ask that legal counsel present us with the information he said, like the shovel-ready project? We didn't have anything that he said. I would like to have documentation that happened. Because if you all didn't have time to get in touch with 12 members, how am I going to tell the constituents in my district that I agreed to let Ruston get it and they didn't get anything? I can't do that. Tell me how to do that,
I
Mr.
understand what
Henderson.
you said, Ms. White. But if you make a motion and you get a second, council, we should get a motion and a second, give you what you need.
We need an agenda, right?
No, because it's on the agenda.
Mr. Council,
She's gonna need a motion and a second and a majority of you to vote, but I'm not clear on what she wants. I
I'm
thought
not
Mr. Postel said y'all had everything he had. But,
everything we have is on a 2-page letter.
right, so
We don't have anything else.
yes, she can make a motion and with a second and a majority vote of the pass, but I just need the motion to be clear what I'm supposed to get. Because I thought Mr. Postel said y'all already have everything you've got.
Let me go on record as saying, I don't trust this jury. I don't trust you to be transparent. And because I don't, I would like to make a motion legal counsel provide me, y'all may not want it, with information that's going to validate what Mr. Postel said, like a shovel-ready project, whatever he said, we'll go back to the minutes and see. Because when I read the GOSEP page, it didn't say that. It didn't say the shovel. It gave, even the letter itself, it gave 3 or 4 different things that you could use this money for. According to the letter, they could have used it to initiate a project. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
A portion of the money can be used for initiating.
Right, so that's not the same as a shovel-ready project.
No, but it's a very small portion that can be used for initiating projects, yes.
Well, yeah, let them get the small amount.
And that's, yes, I hear what you're saying, correct, yes. The information that you were asking for, Ms. White, was discussed with the officials from GOSEP during that meeting. We had a video call with them, there were 3 officials from Baton Rouge on the call, and we had all of these questions being asked and answered during that meeting.
Was Mr. Anderson there?
No, he was not.
Mr. Hyde.
Oh, I didn't make my motion.
Go ahead, Ms. White.
So before she makes a motion, can I say something?
Sure.
I would suggest, it seems like the options are, if you want me to try to run down what Ms. White is asking for, I will certainly try to. Alternatively, if that's not what y'all are after, if you're okay with what has been done, I would ask that somebody make a motion that the jury ratify the action that was taken by you, President Henderson, and Mr. Postel, as to what to do with this money that was made available. I either think, either get the information that Ms. White's asking for, and I'll certainly do everything I can, or ratify what's been done and I'll put this to bed.
Let's move on. Ms. White, make your motion. If we get a
Mr.
second-
Anderson, may I please get an understanding first?
Go ahead, Ms. White.
When you say ratify what has been done, I certainly do not want Ruston or Tech or Louisiana or Lincoln Parish to lose $3 million. That's not what I'm asking. But I do want the truth on this matter. Now, if I ask you to ratify this, what are you going to do?
I'm not going to do anything.
I mean, what are you going to do?
If it's ratified, you're saying you're okay with the action that's been taken, and it's just like it had been presented to you ahead of time, and you were okay with it.
No, I'm not okay with it.
Well, that would be what ratifying it
No,
would be.
I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it.
Ms. White, whatever, make your motion. Let's, we get a second.
I make a motion that legal counsel give us a thorough explanation of what happened during this process. And present it to us as soon as possible. Because I don't think this is going to be the end of this.
I second that motion.
And we got a second. Now we're in discussion as a group. Questions? Comments?
Why does that be a motion to revoke? Can we just ask council to verify the facts that Mr. Postel has given us and tell us that it's good and we move on? And then if he comes up with something, he can say, hey, I found something that's not correct. I mean, could we do that?
Is that a question for us or for the council?
Everybody in the room, I guess.
Okay, I agree with you. You should not have, he
Should I have?
all you gotta do is say, yeah, I'll do. That's it. I mean, it's something you do.
No, I asked him to come back and present it
Yeah,
to
yeah,
us.
you can do that.
He can't just do it. He has to present it to us.
Right.
So that's the motion and that's the second. That's the second. So either we say yes, and he got it in his court, if the vote come out no, we're gonna move on to item number 12.
There's a,
We're gonna do another motion to ratify?
No, that was,
That's up to y'all.
it's up
Or
to
you wanna
us.
wait and do that after we get
We,
it back?
we can do it at any point, yes. Yeah, but right now, that her motion is on the, her motion is on the floor, and we have a second. We have a motion and a second. Everybody understand the motion and the second?
I really don't. I'm the one that's gonna be asked to do something. It seems like y'all wanted me to verify what was said in a meeting.
No. She want proof.
That they're telling me the truth.
The only thing we got, counsel, is a two-page letter.
All right,
That's all we have.
I understand. And
She
you got
want,
that.
she want proof of it. And if there's nothing else,
No, I want proof that Ruston had a shovel-ready project. We didn't have $1 million to put. I want the whole truth. I want what the Bible says. I want the whole truth. Because Mr. Henderson,
count, I think what you want is proof of Tech, the city of Ruston.
no. Just our part. I don't care what Ted and Ruston did. Our stuff. I'm just interested in what we did as a body. We already know, Mr. Henderson, that number one, I did not give you permission to say that was all right.
But what the count is saying is, what do you want them to present to us?
It's
That's
hard
his
for me to
question.
present the lack of something. And it seems like that's what I'm being asked to do, is present proof that y'all didn't have a project ready. And
I'm not explaining myself well, but if the public receives this as being honest and transparent, then I'm through with it.
We have a motion on the floor and a second.
Can I say the three things that I think that Ms. White, the letter, the finance committee can present something to you that says, hey, we don't have excess of $1 million to put up against this. And also from Kip saying that we didn't have a shovel-ready project. Those three, I mean, I'm just asking, would those three items suffice?
No.
Okay.
Any other comments, Ms. Hyde?
Can I interject real quick? I think this may be helpful. I hate that Mayor Walker stepped out. I was going to ask him to confirm something, but just to give you a little bit of an idea, how much money it takes to have a $4 million project shovel ready, and kind of explain why we don't have, figure, of course, there's $1 million to fund the sport match. The engineering costs, I really hate that he stepped out. Engineering costs are, on these projects, somewhere between 20 and 30% of the total. So that means to have a shovel-ready project of the magnitude that it costs a total $4 million, we would have to spend close to $1 million just on engineering on the
But
professional
Mr.
service. So, I'm not suggesting that the course of action was justified or not justified in any way. I'm just trying to help everybody understand why we can honestly say we don't have a shovel-ready $4 million project, and that's because it would take close to $1 million, basically, to just have that on the shelf.
From the letter I read, it didn't have to be a shovel-ready project. I'm gonna use Grambling as an example. Did anybody check to see if Grambling had it, or y'all just assumed? They didn't have to have the whole $3 million. Maybe Mr. Jones could pass something for $15. Certainly you could find 30% or 25% on that. Echo could have had a project. I mean, you all did not go out to ask the municipalities whether or not there was any interest in this money at all. That is not right. I'm through.
Are we ready to vote on the motion?
can I ask one more question?
Yes, sir.
Just so I'm clear, is that the kind of thing you want me to get if this motion passes? You want me to find out from these municipalities if they have a project that they would have been interested in?
No, I'll take another action.
Mr.
We
President,
ready to vote?
President, you have to allow comments from the public before a vote is taken, once the second is made. Lewis?
I would have to research that. I don't know that you have to allow comments on every individual item. I'd have to research that, Mr. President.
Are we ready to vote? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Two ayes. All opposed? Nay.
Hey,
It ain't just three. It's not three.
All opposed, please raise your hand.
That's okay, I'm gonna let count.
Thank you. Item number 12, action on B.
Mr. President, I would still suggest that somebody make a motion ratifying the action that was taken.
Mr. Franklin.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
A motion is
We
second.
ratify the action that you presented to Mr. Pastel.
Need a second?
I'll ratify the president's.
A motion and a second that we ratify what have already been done by the administration and parish president. We have questions. Are we ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Thank you. Item number 12, action,
You still
action.
have to have on record name.
Ma'am,
You still should have on record name those. that-
all opposed. Thank you. Item 12, action on